You guys hear me? I assume you've already bagged your limit and you're getting ready to come home.
No, I got one. I'm the only one that has one so far. So, yep.
Well, good for you.
Well, thanks. I'm the only real hunter. You sound terrible again, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sicker than a dog again. I just got back. I had a CT scan. I didn't think I'd make it back. But they think it's only viral. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah, it's better than the other options.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was asking me about COVID. I said, I had COVID like a month ago. Wow, well, your lungs are clear. And I said, well, they're killing me.
I wouldn't mind starting the meeting, but then if you guys want to have your own meeting first.
We'd love that,
Okay, great.
Nettie. That'd be perfect. Thanks.
Okay, so it's 5:15 and we're gonna have our committee of adjustment meeting today, November 12th. This meeting will be streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page. Applicants and opponents and delegates must make a request to MBER to receive instructions on how to attend a meeting virtually as a participant. Is there anyone, if there's anyone who has a pecuniary interest, would they declare it at the appropriate time, please? And we have a motion here that moved by Jennifer Turk, seconded by, couldn't read the writing at first, seconded by Les Goldhawk, that the minutes of the regular committee of adjustment meeting be held October 8th, 2024 be approved as presented. All in favor? Carried. Okay, so we're going to go to the applications now. We have our members, Les Goldhawk, Jennifer Turk are here, and myself are here present and physically here. Then we have a virtually Mr. Bruce Moulton and Mr. Mike Vasey, who are virtual. So, Randy, you want to go ahead with this application? Discuss it? Do I read the motion first? Okay, good thing. Moved by Jennifer Turk, seconded by Les Goldhawk, that the report by Randy Shea, planner, dated November 4, 2024, be received, and that minor variance application A2524 requesting the following. A variance of approximately 108 square meters, which is 1162.5 square feet, to permit a maximum ground floor area of 298 square meters, 3207.65 square feet, notwithstanding the maximum ground floor area of 190 square meters, which is 2045.14 square feet, as per section 335A, part 3, period. And relief from section 333A to allow the garage to be constructed in the front yard of the property. From the town of Plympton-Wyoming zoning bylaw to accommodate an addition to an existing accessory structure be denied. So any discussions or questions on this? Maybe you'd like to clarify what you just decision there, Randy.
Yeah, so as mentioned in the motion as well report, the applicant is proposing an addition to a pre-existing structure of approximately 167 square meters. The current existing structure on the lot is approximately 131 square meters, where the permitted is 190 within the zoning bylaw. The lot is zoned A1, and in the A1 zone for lots under 2 hectares, there are specific provisions that are in regards to rural residential lots, and the maximum of an accessory structure is 1 at 190 square meters. So therefore, based on the proposed, this new structure would be approximately 298 square meters, and that's about a 56 variance from the 190. Of course, it's a minor variance, so you go through the 4 tests. Is the requested variance minor? The first test, although there's no definition as what is minor. This is quite a large variance, and it is located within the front yard. It will make the current structure closer to the road than what is there. It won't be within the front yard or need a variance from there, but it will encroach farther, which is not necessarily the general intent. So therefore, it was deemed not very minor. It is a permitted use within the official plan. It's an accessory structure in the agricultural area. So therefore, the general intent is relatively maintained there. However, is the general intent of the zoning bylaw maintained? The minimums and maximums for proposed structures, you know, are there to create orderly development. As mentioned, this is quite a large overreach than the maximum that is permitted. And then, you know, you have to think of what that structure may be used for in the future as well as right now. Although said personal storage, there is quite a large structure on the lot already that needs to be considered. And so based on that, in terms of the size and the proposed location of the structure, it is recommended for denial. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, Jennifer, do you have any questions?
I don't really have any questions. I just maybe clarification, Randy. Sorry, through the chair. So this property is already legal non-conforming. So the minor variance is for ground floor and for
The front yard.
front yard. Do they not need to ask for permission to continue the legal non-conforming use?
We wouldn't usually ask them to do that. It's usually just because he's making a change to the structure that's there. Then we'll request the variances.
Okay, and then my second question is, can this be dealt through a zoning bylaw amendment to bring it into conformance?
I mean, I guess a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment could be a tool that could be used. Due to the nature of it, I do believe the minor variances is the more appropriate route.
That's fine, thank you.
So all of your questions, let's go there.
The structure itself, the new structure. If it was to be size smaller, is there a magic number that does?
Well, there are permitted up to 190 square meters in regards to the size that's permitted. If he wants to make any changes to the structure, a variance for the front yard setback for the location will be required. But you are permitted 190 square meters, so I guess that would be a discussion at the time if they were willing to reduce it. So it would be on top of, so they'd have about 60 square meters, I believe, to work with the pre-existing structure.
But basically the expansion would have to be about a third the size.
Yes, and then again, it would still need to come back for the front yard, which would be assessed at the time.
Okay, Mr. Vasey, do you have any questions?
I'll see if I can get through this. Yeah, I think it's too big, too large for the front yard. It's a bit of an eyesore, but the only good thing it's got going for it is it's got a commercial property on each side of it, so it's certainly not going to affect either neighbor. But yeah, just the size of it out in the front like that, I think it's just gonna make the property look like crap. That's all I've got.
That all? Okay, Mr. Moulton?
Just a question through the chair to our planner. I'd like to know what the percentage of buildings are on the property, or what it would be if this building was put on. I really couldn't see exactly the size of the property that was there.
So the property itself, is approximately 0.91 acres. It was done up what would be required if they were to go over lot coverage, and they had very sufficient number. So, but this specific variance would be 56.8%. I don't know if that covers the question.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Moulton?
Yeah, I realize it's 56.8%. So I'm just looking at the total lot coverage that is allowed. I mean, to me, I mean, I realize it's a big building. I realize, but it's also there to help his property with the parking lot and whatnot on the property. So I basically, I mean, I don't have an issue with it being built there, and I don't have an issue with either variances.
Okay, thank you. The applicant like to make a statement? Yes.
Guys, I'm Bill Langford, and it's my wife Sherry, owners of 3273 London Line. A little back information. I'm a classic car collector, so hence the size of the addition. And my two sons have also got into that hobby, so we currently have 6 people living in our property. We all have 6 cars. We all have a car each, so there's 6. But me and my sons have 2 classic cars each. A little excessive, I know, but so currently they get stored through the winter off-site, and then we work on them in the winter. So it'd be nice to get them on my property. Saves me $5,000 to $6,000 a year storage fees. As far as the size, I mean, I've sized it as basically, okay, this is the ultimate garage for myself. I personally do not think it's going to be an eyesore. I'm a carpenter by trade, so and my wife is definitely not going to let that happen. It's going to be a very nice structure. We do have commercial properties inside. Everybody's got big buildings all around us, so to me, that's not an issue, but the garage in the front yard, we don't have a backyard. We have 20 feet of behind my property, and then it becomes Sipkins. So my house has been there for 50 years with that garage, so it potentially could have been there before this bylaw came in, potentially. So the only spot to keep all my parking is in front of my current garage. So that's why I've proposed it there. So that being said, yeah, that's gonna be for truck storage and hopefully a home gym for the family. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on that, or
Is there enough room on I didn't look close enough, I guess, at the time. Is there enough room on the south side of the building to of the building that's currently there? Have that, you know, on the south side rather than the north side?
you could definitely do something a lot smaller, which probably wouldn't suit the needs, but then I lose all my parking. And I would have to park out closer to the end of the garage that's there now. The idea is to be able to put it out front. It will block a lot of traffic noise, and you know, there's always alarms going off at Sipkins, which I expect. But on the weekends and stuff, so that will help with noise control, and it allows me to have all my parking still, which we use every bit of it, you can imagine.
Mr. Basie or Mr. Moulton, do you have any other follow-up?
No, I never, I never even thought about the parking lot, you know, to the west of him, right? So it does kind of buffer him from that. I could see why you'd want that. What do you say? For me, if we were gonna allow it, this would be the property to do it because of the location on each side of them, but that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Moulton?
Nothing to add. Like I said, I think that I agree with Mr. Basie. I think that will provide a buffer and probably keep the vehicles in the yard instead of out, or in a structure instead of outside, which will make the yard look a lot cleaner.
Okay, so I guess we're going to come. Does anybody want me to read this? Motion again? You don't understand, the motion is to deny this. Can I'm gonna ask you a question. Would you downsize it some?
Do you have an option B? If you guys like to hear that?
Randy, do you have an option B, like suggestion?
The analysis was done based on this option.
Yes.
If a variance is required for option B as well, it would still need to be posted for notice and whatnot.
I know, then but it would maybe not give them an outright denial if it were more acceptable at a smaller scale.
Yeah,
That's all.
the size is definitely a large concern. So
Yes.
we'll be open to hearing any other options.
So do you have any suggestions yourself?
I'd honestly like to put this to bed today if we could. I mean, we'll see what council has to say first, I guess, and we have a discussion after.
The only thing I was thinking is that this motion is a total like denial of what your request would be. But if you were to downsize it, this could be, you know, your application could be considered again without going through the whole process again. We would just bring this back only with a smaller scale. You know what I mean? Or
I do, but council can't say yay or nay right now, and we
yes, we can,
defer it, or,
right?
I mean, ideally, I'd like as big as I can go.
Jim.
So I'm fine with proposing a motion to defer and have the applicant come back with Plan B so that Randy has time to go through it and do her analysis with a staff report on her recommendation after reviewing all the policies and zoning bylaw.
Okay,
And the reason I say that is because to understand the process, planners can only give a report based off what you submitted.
Correct.
So if you're about to change your mind because you're gonna go to Plan B because we're gonna deny it, then it has, to me, go to deferral. She needs time to review it.
I mean, know if council is gonna deny it.
no, we don't at the moment, no, but go ahead.
Madam Chair, Randy, if tonight the motion is denied, that does not preclude the applicant from reapplying. However, because it'll be a whole new application, it would have to be a whole new application fee and advisal period, et cetera.
So we have to pay again if you guys deny tonight.
Denied, you have to go start from the beginning.
You gotta pay.
That's why-
$5.
That's why the committee always gives the opportunity to deferral if there's a chance it could be denied. To allow yourself to propose alternatives if what you're wishing for may not get approved.
So my plan B is nothing more than shrinking the width down. It's gonna be the same location, same length. Just different width.
Again, you can ask the committee to rule on what you proposed. If that is if you'd like them to make a decision on that today. It just means that then when you resubmit an application, you have to go through the whole process. So it's a risk you would have to take. Whereas if you deferred it, you'd be able to come back with that alternative at no cost without additional advertising requirements. And we could rehear the options at a later date.
Well, if I defer it, then I shrink it 8 by 45 feet and it still gets denied, then where I'm at.
Right back where we started, yes.
A month later.
You still have to pay the money.
No, you did that with
You defer it.
deferred it, you won't pay again. If you want us to make the decision now,
Gotta get Randy. So I guess I'm gambling on if you guys say yes or no.
well,
It's kind of crazy to spend another $600 when we could fix this right now, but I guess we'll defer it. Like, I'm not a gambling man, but
Well, But just because you're deferring it does not mean you can't move forward with what's been proposed. You can sit down with our planner and go through what would be deemed possibly minor and supportable in that nature. And then Randy can bring that back to the committee to rule on. But if, in Randy's opinion, what is deemable as minor does not meet your needs, you can also request that this application be reheard. So you're not closing any doors, you're just giving information to Randy so you can have a clear understanding what may be supported, or at least from a planning legislation perspective. So that way you have an understanding instead of having to come and reapply to that if this was denied as is today. It doesn't mean you can't come back and just say, no, this is what I want. I want a decision on that. It just means it'll be a month later.
And so. Guess we'll defer it.
You would like to defer it so you can come back with
Yeah, I guess.
dimensions?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
You look like you wanted to say something, Mr. Goldhawk. What, did you want to say something?
It was basically just if we were voting on that. Whether you were voting or. A word that is basically you're either agreeing to deny it or you. Don't vote, basically. Yeah.
So,
So one more thing, you do have another option. And that's if the committee denies it, you can always appeal it to the Ontario Land Tribunal. You as an applicant can still do that. It does cause delays because you can't get a building permit till the Ontario Land Tribunal makes their decision, but that's another option too.
Mr. Baird.
Mr. Vasey has a.
Yes, Mr. Vasey.
When you're looking at options, sorry. When you're looking at options, would you consider making it like a fatter and not stick out into the yard as much? So make it a little north to south longer and not protrude into the yard. Might be an option, I don't know. Depends what he's got set up inside, but just a thought.
The length is really what I need, Mike. The 45 feet that comes within 3 or 4 feet of my driveway. That's the length I need to get the cars or trucks all in there at the same time. The width I can deal with, that was probably going to be option B, shrink the width down, but that's where we're at with the length of it.
Okay, thank you.
So the motion is to deny this application, but so that's what we're gonna vote on now.
I think a deferral was request, wasn't it?
I know, but don't we have to just not agree to deny this?
Because if you deny
Okay,
it.
so we're
then
not
the
even doing-
application is denied, so it would then be deferred.
Okay, we haven't. Somebody might have a motion.
Councillor McEwen, I'll make a motion that we defer this application. I know I can't sign anything.
All right, thank you. So you go. Jennifer and then Mr. Moulton. Third. Consider new information.
Allow the applicant time to adjust to conform with the zoning bylaw. More
I'm trying to more than the bylaw. That's why we're here, right? Variance not to conform to it.
But if you don't try to conform to the zoning bylaw, you're gonna get denied again. So that's why we're allowing you to defer, so that you can bring back the new design that you have proposed.
2045 maximum allowed. There's no more period.
Closer.
Isn't that why we're here for a variance?
Closer to it, yes.
Under
That's
pending act.
that's better wording than
So
I'd
that
like to see it closer to the
Conform.
allotted bylaw.
to consider new info to allow adjustments on measurements closer to zoning regulations. Will that do? I'll read this. Moved by Mr. Turk, seconded by Mr. Moulton, that A2524 be deferred to consider new information to allow adjustments on measurements closer to zoning regulations. So, anyway, how do you vote? Okay, moved up. Okay, are you agreeing with this? Okay, Mr. Moulton?
Yes.
Mr. Vazy, everybody's up. Carried. Okay. So you're. You know, with some
A
new,
whole new application, or I can just give you some new drawings.
Yeah, you can, just give me a call tomorrow or whatever works and we can discuss,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
thank you.
So this is sort of gives you
Yes, for sure.
a way.
Thanks, guys.
So, it's arising from previous meetings are comprehensive zoning bylaw amendments. What's that?
reviewing the zoning bylaw for update. They are still underway. We've met with the consultants a couple of times and provided comments, so working towards that.
Good, okay. New business. Any new business, Mr. Moulton?
Nothing for me, thank you. I know we do have to talk about, yeah, sorry, the May meeting, date.
Yeah, because it's scheduled for when the
Yeah,
conference.
and I'm flexible I'm willing to do any time, so I'm fine. I only got about 6% here, I'll stay on until
Okay.
the battery dies.
All right, Mr. Vazy, you any new business?
Nothing, thank you.
Just a new breathing apparatus?
They tell me it's nothing.
Okay.
I just suffer quietly.
Okay, I'll hope you're here next time. Mr. Goldhawk, new business?
No, I don't.
Jennifer?
I do not.
Okay, so we can change on our schedule here, you know, we'll change our meeting date to before or after on May the 6th or the 20th. Okay. Or maybe I'll tell Mackenzie that. All right, so,
Which date would you prefer?
well, it probably should go on the 6th because if we do it on after, whoever's building something would probably rather have their application heard at the beginning of the month rather than later, so.
Just towards Victoria Day, which some people I think would start.
Yeah. Okay, moved by Mr. Goldhawk, seconded by Jennifer Turk, that the committee adjustment meeting be adjourned and the next meeting be scheduled for December 10th, 2024 at 5:15. All in favor? Carried. I think that I'm done.